whether you are starting selling on Amazon, and then if you're not sure how to start the campaign, it's very straightforward to start the campaign because there's nothing you can do wrong because the things are in your control. Whether we should target our own brand name, you know, I don't think that's argument there we should, because if we don't do it, somebody else might do it. So do you want somebody else to appear when they type your brand name on the search? Probably not. When you do these different groups within that, we'll actually can evaluate what kind of keywords work better. And there is a general assumption that when you say exact keywords may be better than the phrase or approach, but that's not true. It will be easier to choose one of the structure and stick with it, because then you are streamlining your process. So for instance, if you've got 5 products in the account, if you choose one structure, you can apply that structure to all the 5 campaigns.
Hello and welcome to Seller Assistant Talks. My name is Oleg Kuzmenkov. I'm the founder of Seller Assistant, our tool designed for searching and analyzing products for online arbitrage and wholesale on Amazon. We help thousands of sellers to run and grow their business on Amazon. In this podcast, we dive deep into the world of selling on Amazon. We share insights, tips, and strategies to help you succeed. We bring in industry experts, successful sellers, and partners to share their knowledge and experiences with you. In this episode, we're going to talk about Amazon advertising. You will learn how to structure your campaigns for maximum impact. I will break down the different campaign types, sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display, discuss best practices for organizing campaigns and ad groups. Whether you are new to Amazon advertising or looking to refine your approach, this episode will provide you with actionable insights to improve your Amazon advertising performance. Our guest is Prabhat Shah, and he is experienced UK-based marketplace consultant specializing in assisting both established and startup brands on Amazon. He has over 10 years of experiences and works with both UK and international businesses. He also an author of A to Z Guide to Amazon Advertising, a practice in-depth guide. The link in the description. If you find this topic interesting, hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Hi Prabhat, you are so experienced in this field, and I'm happy to have you on my podcast.
Thank you, Oleg, for inviting me. So, like Oleg mentioned, we will be talking about how to structure the campaign and Amazon ads today. And I'll try and keep it as short as possible, but I'll try and give in as much information as possible in a short time. As Oleg mentions, Seller Assistant tool helps to grow the business on Amazon. With Amazon advertising, it's one of the best tools we've seen in the market for growing the sales on Amazon itself. And whether you are starting selling on Amazon, and then if you're not sure how to start the campaign, it's very straightforward to start the campaign because there's nothing you can do wrong because the things are in your control. Now, what are the things in your control? So the budget is in your control. So you can set a budget of $5, £5 as minimum as possible. In terms of bidding, it's in your control as well. So you can start bidding with a low, maybe 20 pence or 20 cents for any particular campaign. It's in your control. And that flexibility allows you to try different things in Amazon advertising. There are different types of ads where we talk about sponsored product ads, where you can surface your ads in the top of the search results below the top banner. You can also display your ad against your competing product. You can display your ads against your own product. So there are lots of placements that the sponsor ads helps you to place the ad. Then if we talk about brand ads, where it is available for the trademark registered accounts only, or if you have a brand registry, then you are eligible to create brand ads. So brand ads itself allows your ads to surface in the topmost part of the search result. You can do video ads. So there are those opportunities for the brand ads. And if you talk about display ads, very quickly, it just allows you to display your ads against the audience who are interested or who's visited your product or your competing product. So you are targeting people who are already interested. This is just a brief understanding what these ads will do. Now I'm going to specifically talk about this campaign structure because that's what our topic is: Amazon advertising structure to create a maximum impact. So when we have, say for example, if you have 1,000 products, for instance, I'll start with that and I'll talk about a smaller range of products. So if you've got thousands of products in your account, so how do you advertise them in a way that is a little bit structured? You can follow things through, you can check the result. The way to do that is divide the campaigns or create the campaigns. You could create the campaigns by the same type of product or each product separate. And when I talk about 1,000 products, and you may question, okay, is it possible to create campaigns for each product when there's thousands of products involved? Yes, it is possible. Now, when we talk about manually creating campaign, obviously it may be very difficult, but it is possible to do in a batch. You can, of course, use automated softwares to create campaigns in bulk and things like that. But irrespective of that, the structure can remain the same whether you are doing large number of listings or a small number of listings. So, say for instance, if you are creating automated campaigns, so I'll just share the screen with a very, very simple example of the structure. Now, if we look up auto campaigns here, so we can create a campaign name with a product name itself. And then within that, we can create an ad groups with that particular. This is a very simple structure in the auto campaigns. Then another campaign will have another campaign name with another product name, and you will put another product inside that. So you've got different campaigns for different products. Now, if we start creating manual campaign, then what you could do is for the same product, you could do different ad groups. Now, it's important that we separate the ad groups into different types of keywords. Now, I'm realizing that I'm not talking about how to create an ads and things like that because the focus again is the campaign structure. So I think what may be good is I'll leave the floor open for the questions. And if you feel like you've got any particular questions in terms of different types of ads, and you wanted us to do another podcast, perhaps you can leave that question in the comment section and Oleg will kindly collect all the questions and perhaps we can do another podcast there. So I'm just going back to our structure here. So you can create three different types of keywords match types. So exact match, phrase match, and a broad match. So there are different types of match types, but you can put the same keywords against them. So when you do these different groups within that, we'll actually can evaluate what kind of keywords work better. And there is a general assumption that when you say exact keywords may be better than the phrase or a broad, but that's not true. We've seen the results time and time again. It's not always true that exact keywords are better than the broad and phrase. It can be broad may be better or a phrase might be better. In that particular reason, it is always good to test it out. Now let's go on to the other types of structure here, and it's called its advanced structure. You can assume that it's just a different kind of structure. It's not complicated, to be honest. So here what we have done, we've created a campaign by the product name. And then inside that, what we have done, we have created a category campaign where we have targeted the relevant product category here, as you can see. And then we can also create another campaign or another group within that particular campaign where we are targeting the category which is related to that product. So to keep it simple, you can do two groups, one with the group targets for the category that is exactly relevant to the product, another one related. So that's one structure here. And you can also do say product target campaigns where you've got a campaign and inside that you're targeting In one group, you are targeting competing products, and another group, you are targeting complementary products. So, in that way, what you are doing is you are creating different sets of campaigns, you're creating different groups because the types of campaigns are different. Here, you are doing auto, this is manual, this is category, and this is product. And inside them, you are creating different sets of targets again. So, by doing so, you are allowing yourself to measure the success of what is better and what is not quite easily. And also, in any organization, there may be 20 people, 30 people, maybe 40 people working. Or even if you're on your own, and then if you're going away, it allows you to explain the details to your colleague much easier, and they will be able to handle it much effectively when you're not there as well. Going down here, there are different structure. Are we talking here now? Different type. We are targeting our own brand. So we've got a product name again, and then we are targeting our own brand name. Now, a lot of times there is a question whether we should target our own brand name. I don't think that's argument there. We should, because if we don't do it, somebody else might do it. So, do you want somebody else to appear when they type your brand name on their search? Probably not. You may want to pay less for the campaigns, but that's a different scenario. But it's always good practice to target your own brand. Then another type of campaign you can create is targeting your competitor brand name. So like that, so you are creating different structure. Now, this is based on the type of targets and type of keywords. You can also do various other types of campaigns where you are creating a campaign just based on the ACOS label. Obviously, ACOS, which is advertising cost of sale, it can be very important for, when you do an ads, because you want your cost as low as possible. So you can put your more budget on the keywords which is less than 10% ACOS. Now 10% is very arbitrary figure. It can be better. 20% may be better for you. So you can put a campaign or keywords group just less than 10% ACOS, another one greater than 10% ACOS. Now, by doing this, what you're doing is you are creating different groups and you are putting more money on the campaigns or targets with less cost of sales, and you are putting less money on the campaigns with the higher cost of sales. Now that's perfectly fine. So by doing this, you are again analyzing your result in a better way possible, because imagine if all the keywords are in one place, and the cost of level, if you wanted to very strictly control the cost of level, if they are in a different position, some maybe 10%, some maybe 15%, if you do it that way, that's nothing wrong. But if you wanted to control and put more focus on campaigns with or targets with less than 10% ACOS, separate them. Then you can put more budget on the ones that's working well for you. So I'm going to stop sharing screen here. So going back to talk again a little bit on the structure there. So by doing this type of structure, you're bringing control to your campaigns, that's for sure. You're measuring effectively, and then you're making your life easier, much easier, because you are not confused where, in the later part of 2 or 3 months after looking at a campaign. Yes, the question will be again thinking about large number of products, and that's always be very difficult. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's possible. As an ad agency, we have done campaigns in the similar way for the large number of listings as well. Does it take time? Yes, it does take time. But if you start with a particular focus of products, it's a doable practice, and then you will get a result with a better cost of sales, and then you are maximizing impact of the ads itself. So I'm going to stop talking here. I hope you found this useful, and what would be really great is to see, tell us about how you found and how you are structuring your campaign itself. And I'm more than happy to, hear any comments on that. Perhaps we can answer that also. And I'm repeating this. If you've got any other specific topic within the ads that you wanted to hear from us, you can put a questions in the comment section, and then we'll do another podcast for you.
You show few types of campaign structures. How does it work? You usually choose and pick one and stick with it, or you can mix different types of structures in the same for the same product or for the same seller account?
Yeah, I think it will be easier to choose one of the structure and stick with it, because then you are streamlining your process. So for instance, if you've got 5 products in the account, if you choose one structure, you can apply that structure to all the 5 campaigns and let it run for a bit. If you wanted to change it, change is good always. Allow, maybe do change after 2 to 3 months period, and see if you get a different set of results.
So if I stick with one of them, how can I learn how to work with it, how to improve my campaign over time? I mean, for example, which keywords to add, which remove, which stop, how to increase or decrease beats. Do you have answers for that, or it's like a big subject topic for another video?
No, no, it's perfectly fine. No, thank you, Oleg, for asking that. So when you are running the campaigns, allow maybe 2 to 3 days sometimes for campaigns to start creating impressions and clicks. And sometimes it may not create any impressions and clicks. In that way, perhaps your bids are not right. So you may want to look at bids, whether you can increase it. That's the first thing. If you're started to see impressions and clicks, then if you go into, say, for instance, if you run an auto campaign, which is a common campaigns people do, going to auto campaigns, there are ad groups within that. Then there is a search terms tab, and within the search terms, you will start seeing the keywords, the actual keywords that your consumers are typing to find your product. And you can analyze that. You can see what keywords are generating clicks, and how much clicks they are generating. Are they relevant or not, and how much you are spending on that. Say if a certain keyword is relevant, but you've spent certain sum of money, which is not too high, but they are relevant, then it's best to maybe leave it, so that maybe few more clicks may generate sales. If there are certain keywords that's not relevant, now remember, a lot of keywords here will not be relevant, because Amazon system is built in such a way that when you run an auto campaigns, the system will read your title, your bullet points, description, and the backend keywords, and the category of the product, and present your product with the right search results. So it may not be really badly irrelevant, but even so, if you see something irrelevant and creating lots of wastage, then you can pick up that word and add into negative. Within negative, again, there is 2 types of negatives. One is exact negative, another one is phrase negative. Now, you may want to not work with the phrase negative at the start, because it will do negatives on the lots of different combinations. So start with a negative exact. So when you do a negative exact, your ads will not surface when somebody types exactly the same word. So in that way, what you're doing is you're improving the efficiency of the campaign, and you're lowering the wastage there.
What about campaign structure where you have 3 groups with like a broad phrase and exact? How keywords travel through this group? I know like you start with the broad usually, and then extract phrase or exact keywords and put them into different group, right?
Okay, yeah, very good question. So there is a 2 way of doing this. One way of doing it is, when you create a campaign, you create broad phrase exact with the same keywords, same amount of bid, all at the same time. Now, what we found when you do this, the all of this system will start working. However, you don't cannibalize each other, meaning one does not take over and increase the bids for others. So one will work at a time. The system is clever enough to recognize what is best to work on and whatever time. Obviously, um, how that system works, it's beyond my knowledge and understanding, but practically we've seen all of them working. So what you'll find the impressions and clicks over the period of time on all the groups itself, unless you put very low budget. Say for example, if you put very low budget, the system will work on the keywords that's already generating some sales, and then it will sometimes ignore other types of keywords. So putting low budget may not always be helpful in that case. So try and see what sort of budget you have. Maybe if you're putting £2 or £3, it's not a good way. Maybe you start with 5 or 10 or 15, £20 to allow all the types of keywords to work. So that's how you get. Now, what you mentioned about another process where we start with the broad maths, perfectly fine. Let it run for a bit. Then you'll start analyzing what works, what doesn't. Whatever's not working, you can put that into negative. And whatever is working, what you can do is just take that out and start putting into phrase maths. In that way, then you are doing one group at a time, and then you are doing broad, then the phrase, then the exact, but you are not stopping any of them. You are allowing yourself to test all of this and what works for us. Obviously, what you are doing by doing this, you are already making sure the good keywords that's working with the broad maths, you are moving into a phrase and exact. So there is less wastage when you are doing this way. Okay, so that is also another tactic that you can use. um, I have done both. In my experience, I prefer the first one because I'm not wasting time on, not wasting may not be a right word, but I'm doing all the tests in a short span of time. And then time is money, as you know. So where if I test in a short span of time, and then if I stop whatever's not working and keep going with what's working, then I have increased the efficiency of that campaign.
How often you touch your campaigns? Once a week, or
I generally do within 2 to 3 days in the new account. So if there is a new account meaning new campaign going, I'll check every 2 to 3 days, not 24 hours for sure, because there isn't enough time to do it. Now, with the 2 to 3 days, why I'm doing that? Because I'm interested in checking if there is any impressions or clicks or not. Sometimes you may not get it. So you don't want to wait for a week. And then after 1 week, we found out, oh, there's no impressions, clicks. Now, other way around, reverse it. If there is a lots of clicks, then I don't want to find that out after 1 week. That's a long time, and there's a lot of wastage. So 2 to 3 days is perfect time to see it. If there is any campaign which is stable and you're doing it for a longer period of time, maybe those campaigns you can look it out over the 7 days period. Now, why we are doing that? Because the attribution. So Amazon records the sales of the campaign go back by 7 days in the sponsored product ads, and display and brand ads, they go back 14 days. So sometimes if you start negating things and stopping things in every 2 3 days, it's okay to control right in the start, but later on you want to bit longer period of time, because if you stop it today, and then if it was going to generate sales after 7 days because there's attribution there, then you'd have done something not right, because you should have waited that amount of time. But also I appreciate that we got to reduce the wastage, and we need to see the efficiency right from the start. So starting campaign 2 3 days, after the campaigns are a little more settled, then 7 days is a good way to do it.
can you share a link to the spreadsheet with the type of structures somewhere in the
Yes,
description?
of course.
Okay,
Yeah, of course.
great.
Yeah, no problem. I can share that link. That's no problem.
Thank you so much, Prabhat, for sharing your knowledge today, and it was really interesting for me, and I hope everyone who watching us today gets some valuable information for them. So thank you, everyone who joined us today. I hope you find this episode interesting. Stay tuned for more episodes where we bring more experts and share more tips to help you succeed on Amazon. If you find this interesting, hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Leave your comments below. We will definitely respond and ask your questions. If you have a question to Prabhat, feel free to leave your comment and he will answer. And don't forget to check sellerassistant.app website for tools and resources that help you boost your Amazon business. Read the blog, use Seller Assistant. Have a good day.
Thank you. All the best.
Yeah, bye.